You've entered Midnight Terrors, where every story is a door to the unknown, and some doors should never be opened. Before we dive into tonight's tale, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell, because once the shadows find you, you won't want to be alone. Share these nightmares with those you love or those you'd rather haunt. Your support feeds the darkness. Now, take a deep breath, if you can, and let's begin. Hidden deep in the jungle, beyond the reach of sunlight, lies the Hermit's Cave, a place whispered about for centuries where the bravest souls dared to enter and vanished without a trace. Was it greed? Was it a curse? Or was there something darker lurking within? Tonight, we'll uncover the chilling secrets, the forgotten history, and the horrifying fate of those who tried to claim the cave's legendary treasures. Brace yourself. This story may change how you see hidden places forever. A chilling tale of greed, shadows, and a curse that lives on. In the heart of a forgotten jungle, where the trees grow tall and twisted, and the air feels heavy with secrets, there lies a cave so ancient, so feared, that even the birds refuse to fly above it. Long ago, this cave was nothing more than a dark hollow in the rocks, whispered about in hushed voices. They said it held ancient treasures, gold, gemstones, relics from a lost kingdom. But it was also said that the cave was cursed, that anyone who entered never came back. But you know how it is. Stories fade, greed grows louder than fear. These stories were passed down by the seer mothers from generation to generation. In the 1800s, there was a warlord named Obinna the Ruthless. He was known across the region for his thirst for power, wealth, and blood. Obinna had heard the stories of the Hermit's Cave, the treasure, the gold, the stones that could buy an army, and he wanted it all. Ignoring the warnings of his elders, he gathered his men, 30 of them, strong, fearless, and armed to the teeth. They marched into the jungle, their eyes glinting with dreams of riches, and found the entrance to the cave, hidden behind a curtain of vines. As they stepped inside, the temperature dropped. The air smelled wrong, like something had been rotting for centuries. Deeper into the cave they went, torches flickering, footsteps echoing. Strange symbols were carved into the walls. Whispers, like voices from another world, seemed to float through the darkness. Obinna, driven by greed, pushed forward, ignoring the trembling hands of his men. Then they found it, a massive stone chamber filled with glittering gold and gemstones, piles of them, more than any of them could carry. Obinna laughed, a sound that bounced off the cave walls like thunder. But as they began to fill their sacks, the ground beneath them started to shake. The walls seemed to close in, the air grew thick, suffocating, and then they heard it, a deep, inhuman growl. One by one, Obinna's men began to vanish, snatched into the shadows by something unseen. Some were dragged screaming into the darkness, others simply disappeared without a sound. Blood stains appeared on the walls, fresh, dripping. The gold turned black in their hands. The cave was alive. Obinna, once so confident, now ran, dropping his gold, his sword, his pride. But the cave was not done with him. You see, the cave wasn't just a cave. Legend has it, centuries ago, a hermit sorcerer lived in the cave, guarding the treasures of a forgotten kingdom. When invaders came to steal the riches, the hermit cast a curse. Any who seek greed within these walls shall become part of the darkness. Obinna tried to escape, but as he reached the entrance, he heard his own voice, whispering from behind him. He turned and saw a figure, himself twisted and monstrous, with hollow eyes and a grin that dripped with shadow. The last thing he heard was his own laughter, echoing back at him. Years later, villagers found Obinna's sword near the cave's entrance, but no trace of him or his men was ever seen again. The cave remains, hidden and waiting, whispering to those who pass by. Some say if you stand outside the Hermit's Cave at night, you'll hear the screams of Obinna's men, still trapped inside, their souls bound to the darkness. And if you listen closely, you might even hear the faint clink of gold, calling out to the next greedy soul. So, what happened in the Hermit's Cave? The answer is both simple and terrifying. Greed led them in, but the darkness kept them forever. Obinna the Ruthless thought he could cheat the curse, but the cave was older, stronger, and filled with a hunger that swallowed him whole. Remember, not every treasure is worth chasing. Some doors are meant to stay closed, and some caves should never be entered. If you're ever tempted by the whispers of riches in a hidden cave, think back to the hermit's cave and ask yourself, is it worth the risk? Would you risk your soul for a chance at riches, knowing what happened in the hermit's cave?